And I think the big Cilla magic, if you like, was to kind of transport herself from the 1960s and this dolly bird image, environment, and I think everyone grew up with her. The 50s, very grey, dull period, and then the 60s, we're going from kind of black and white world into black and white into colour television. And she kind of bridged that too. So we all grew up with Cilla growing up.
And her first love, of course, and her first talent was being a singer.
All she wanted to do. I mean, that was the hat check girl in the cavern. So Cilla was around, and really perfect timing.
How did she make it as a singer, though? I mean, she obviously had a voice, but I guess lots of people have a voice and they don't make it. What was the difference with?
Well, I think the songs were the difference, really. And she had, because of the connection with the Beatles, you had McCartney and Lennon songwriting, but you also had Brian Epstein, the Beatles manager, who took over with Cilla, and he brought in the Bacharach David song, Anyone Who Had a Heart. So,
which was her fantastic first hit.
Big hit, yeah. And again, like a roller coaster, the hits just started one after the other.
Okay, so she's a successful singer. How on earth does she then branch into other phases of her career? What is it inside Cilla that's driving her, that makes her so successful?
I think it's personality driven, but also not wanting to stand still. I think easily, not bored, but easily wanting to do something just a bit extra, just move on, go up a notch. And the husband, Bobby Willis,
he was very important.
Very important. They're from this, really is the old cliche dream, the sweetheart, on off kind of romance, if you like, and then he becomes her manager after Brian Epstein's death.
And she and her husband Bobby, I mean, they kept working, didn't they? And they drove a pretty hard bargain, I gather.
Oh yeah.
Behind the scenes.
But he did, yeah. When I think it's probably my favourite. She was playing Aladdin or Cinderella at the London Palladium, and it was a 7-week run, which is quite a long time. And part of the contract that Bobby negotiated was that there would be champagne in the fridge every night. So when they came to fill it the first evening, they installed full-size ceiling-to-floor fridge, which took 80 bottles of Dom Perignon vintage. And they managed to get that 80 bottles out every night into the car. So each day the management supplied 80 bottles of.
What about your final memories or abiding memory of her?
I think of anyone who had a heart, standing up there, microphone, dolly bird, fun.
Up on the stage?
Up on the stage, yeah. And I think John Lennon shouting to her in the cab, this, teenager, really, come on up, Cyril, which is what he said.
Cyril?
Cyril, yes. And up she got and belted it out. And they all stopped and listened.